Titanic Belfast celebrates over 250 years of astonishing shipbuilding history that only Belfast owns around the entire world. But the iconic nature of the building itself is inspired by water crystals, icebergs, the White Star of the White Star Lines, but most importantly for us, it's inspired by the great hulls of the ships that were actually built on this shipyard.
How difficult was it to design something that you thought, or that Belfast thought would fit?
Well, I think once we tapped into the magnificent architecture of the scaffolding and the aerial gantry and the building of the ships themselves, you don't have to look anywhere else for such majesty. And the idea of the ship's hulls representing the four eras of shipbuilding in Belfast, timber, iron, steel, and aluminium, all of it fell into place. And the clear crystal that nestles between each of those hulls is inspired by the derricks and the scaffolding and the hoarding that was built to build these great ships. And out of that crystal, aligned with the center of the very shipyard and gangways where the Titanic and the Olympic were built together, you can stand and see where all of this happened when Belfast owned the center of invention and innovation in shipbuilding back in the early part of the 20th century.
Now, as I said to you earlier, a lot of people that we spoke to around the world don't know that Belfast is linked with the Titanic in that we built it here. Do you think will this building bring Titanic home?
Titanic is going to shout to the world about the genius of engineering innovation that Belfast owned. The strength of this building as the largest Titanic exhibition in the world will teach the world about all of the artisans, all of the shipbuilding magnates, all of the great leaders of shipping around the world that was concentrated in Belfast. This is going to restore Belfast as the centerpiece of one of the finest areas of shipbuilding all over the planet.
How much of a joy was this for you to design and build, Eric?
This is truly one of the most magnificent things we've ever worked on. And to be able to capture the spirit of the story of Belfast as much as the tragedy of this one unique ship, balancing those two is absolutely the best part of what architecture can do, which is tell a great story about the authenticity of a city and its people.
How much work did you have to do around Belfast to get a bit of research into your head about what Belfast is and what Titanic means to Belfast?
Well, one of the greatest joys working on any project is to research the history of a city as it grows. And over the years, as Queens Island was created and the Lagan River was straightened, we saw that there was so much energy and so much foresight on the city leaders to build Belfast up as a centerpiece of shipbuilding as well as commerce and trade. And as that unfolded, the story of Belfast, far more than just one tragic ship, evolved to create a magnificent story that the Titanic Museum that we're talking about is going to teach the world.
Great, Eric. Michael, anything else that you think we need to cover?
I think you kind of covered, I was just going to ask about the location of it, but I think you sort of covered it.
You want to do it? You want to do it? Yeah. That's a great idea. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and of course it sits at the very edge of the slipway.
Yes.
Is that footprint significant?
Yes. The location of the Titanic Belfast building itself is at the end of the double slipways where the Titanic and the Olympic were built side by side. It actually sits on the grounds of the old plating works from view out of the very drawing office where all the drawings were being created that actually allowed the ship to be built. So that intersection of the drawing office, the location of the plating works, and standing at the head of the bow of the ships on the old slipways is a perfect location to tell the story of the richness of all that this part of Belfast has had to offer.
There's one wee thing just I want to cover before we get totally so. The glass, the switch on, switch off thing, the art in the glass that you can see the slipway with the ship.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
There's a lot of magic here that's going to unfold. But the best part about it is inside, we've included some of the most incredible lighting theatrics that'll turn this thing into a magical spectacle at night as much as a proud, compelling icon for Belfast during the day.
What do you feel seeing this building, the iconic building of Titanic here in Belfast?
Well, I can't wait to get inside of it. Tomorrow they're going to finally let me. They've been teasing me the last day. It's a beautiful building, and I want to get inside and I want to see the magnificent work they've done, and I can't wait to come back with my wife and family on the anniversary, I'll be here.
And what do you feel about Belfast is left out of the Titanic story? I mean, we had Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, and that film Belfast wasn't mentioned. Belfast people were.
Well, Belfast kind of didn't want to be mentioned. I know that when we first were doing our research, it was like, don't know what you're talking about. So the fact that Belfast is also finally embracing the Titanic and embracing it in a magnificent way, I'm glad you did. It's about time.
Do you think that building has brought Titanic home to Belfast?
I think the building has brought it home to Belfast, and I'm glad they have. It's a great ship. Build another one.